You log into your Credit Karma, maybe you got an alert, maybe you got an email from Credit Karma or any one of the credit monitoring services. What's going on that's making your credit score just go up and down like the stock market? So what's the reason for that? Let's go over a couple of reasons why you may be seeing changes when you're logging into your credit monitoring services, right? So a couple common reasons. So number one, did you pay off a loan? So now we talked about this on a couple of videos, and it's kind of upsetting because most of us who have credit card debt, we have student loans, we have different type of loans. One of the main things that we all want to do while we increase our 3-digit FICO score, we want to pay down some of this debt too, like some of the debt that's following us and feels like a burden. We want to get rid of that. But we've seen time and time again when you have a student loan, an auto loan, any sort of installment loan that you've been paying for, let's say 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you pay it off, boom, now the account is closed. It's closed. What most people think is, okay, well, now I'm debt free. I took care of that debt. I should see a credit increase. Rarely does that happen. And more often than not, once you pay off that installment loan, your credit score, a lot of people are seeing, is actually going to go down. Anything that you do to your credit reports, whether that's you're adding accounts, you're closing accounts, you're changing anything with the credit profile, it's like you're literally tipping over a domino, right? Very rarely can you do something to your credit reports, to your credit profile, and it's not going to have some sort of impact to your entire credit profile as a whole, as well as your 3-digit FICO. Paying off installment loans is no exception. A lot of you guys, that's one of your biggest primary accounts. And for several years, that was the account that was giving you on-time payments every single month like clockwork. You close down that account, you're not getting any more new positive payment history. If that was the only installment loan that was reporting to your credit reports, you're going to need to supplement that. You're going to need to have another installment loan. Now, for a lot of you guys, you're like, I don't care about that. I just want to go ahead and just be debt free. I don't care. I'm not trying to do any tricks. If that's your mindset, there's absolutely nothing wrong against that. You got a decent credit score, you're debt free. If that's your goal, cool. For those who are trying to basically manipulate the game, the credit score game, this is why I say make sure you always have at least a couple of installment loans. Even if the only thing that you're doing is adding maybe another Navy pledge loan, maybe once a year or once every couple of years, just to make sure that you're always having that credit mix on your credit profile. That's something that you may need to be aware of. Again, that's not something that you have to do, but those that are trying to just tweak and maximize their 3-digit FICO, this is something that you want to do. You never want to get to a point where you don't have any installment loans reporting on your account. So that's one of the reasons. Number two, hard inquiry. So if you've been shotgunning applications, so you're trying to do a credit sequence, you went online, somebody told you, hey, apply for these 3, 5, 6 credit cards. You don't know what's on your credit report. You have derogatories, you have a whole bunch of negatives on your credit profile, but you're like, okay, I want this card denied. Okay, I want this card denied. All right, I'm gonna apply for these 2 denied. Remember, every time you're applying and you're getting denied, you're getting another hard inquiry. Every hard inquiry, you're losing about 3 to 5 points. Every time you hit that submit button and you don't get the card, you're losing points. And some of you guys, you're applying for 5, 6, 7 different accounts. Your credit profile is not where it needs to be. So really, you're just making it worse for yourself, right? So then you log back in and now you're seeing, okay, now I have 8 inquiries. I got 12 inquiries on my Equifax, on my Experian. That's going to be hurting your score. And now, quick side note, the hard inquiry is only going to impact your credit score, your 3-digit FICO, for 12 months, right? So the inquiry is going to be visible. You're going to be able to see it on your credit report for 24 months, so basically 2 years, but it's only going to impact your score for 12 months. But let's say you do nothing for 12 months. Those old hard inquiries, they're no longer going to be weighing you down anymore. So when you log back into Credit Karma on the 13th month and you're seeing your score go up and you're like, I didn't do anything different, that right there could be one of the reasons why. There's always going to be fluctuations when it comes to your credit profile. The same things can be said with collections, with late pays, with basically anything. The sooner, the closer that activity was to the present day. So if you got a late pay 30 days ago, that's really going to devastate your score. But over the course of time, especially if you're not making any more lates, right? That was your one mistake. over the course of time, you're going to see your score is going to go back up slowly. Even if you're not doing anything else, even if you're not adding on new accounts, you're not disputing, that one late pay is just getting a little bit older. That one derogatory account is getting a little bit older. And the older that it gets, the less that it weighs down on your credit scores. We always talk about the 24-month look back period. Really, the main thing you really want to focus on when it comes to your credit score is the last 24 months. So take today and the last 24 months. So if you have a late pay from 5.5 years ago, that's not really a reason to lose sleep over. With the exception of something like a bankruptcy and possibly even like a charge off. But lates, collections, we always want to clean that up. But if they're super old, it's not going to impact you as much. Okay, guys, so the main takeaway for point number 2 is just time. Time itself is going to change the way your 3-digit FICO score is going to get calculated. High balances reported. So we know about utilization. We know how much that impacts the score. And we have seen in this economy that some people, they're noticing that the banks are now starting to slash their credit limits. Right? So if you had a $10,000 credit limit, you had a $1,000 balance, that's only a 10% utilization. If they took that $10,000 credit limit and they reduced it to, let's say, $4,000, that $1,000 balance that used to report a 10% utilization is now going to be reporting a 25% utilization. Another thing to pay attention to, of course, your due dates, but also pay attention to the statement end date, because that is the day that they're going to take all of your information. It's basically like a snapshot of what you've been doing, how much you racked up on your credit cards, everything that's going on with your credit profile. The end of that statement date, they're going to take that and they're going to send it over to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So always keep in the back of your head your due date. Yes, that's good, but also keep in mind your statement date. So if you don't want high utilization being sent over to the credit bureaus, which is going to drop your score, pay attention to your statement date and make sure that the utilization is where you want it to be at least 2 or 3 days before that date. Any other time of the month, if you want to have higher utilization, cool. But a couple of days before your statement end date, make sure that thing is put back down to 1 to 9% if possible. So now with identity theft is a very real thing, guys. I did a few videos kind of giving you guys what it looks like if some of your information may have linked to the dark web. We talked about that. I mentioned smart credit. If you don't have that already for not only your credit monitoring, there are features inside of these services that's going to be able to give you an alert. So if you are getting alerts for applications, or if you're getting alerts for that you're getting inquiries, you just always want to make sure that you're regularly checking whatever is on your credit reports. I say at least one time a month, at least once a month, whatever day that you normally take care of all your bills, pull up your statements and pull up what's reporting to your credit reports and just look at it. See what's pulling up. Do you recognize these hard inquiries? Do you recognize these accounts that are posting? If anything that's popping up on your credit report that isn't accurate, you don't recognize it, that could potentially mean that there is an identity theft issue. If that's the case, make sure that you are contacting your credit card issuer. Make sure that you are reaching out to the credit bureaus. This is the way that people typically do the credit sweeps, right? When they say, oh, this account's not mine, this is fraud. I don't know how this American Express charge popped up on my account. I don't know what it is. That's what a lot of credit repair companies try to do, right? These are their credit sweeps, where they basically try to say that everything in your account is fraud in order to get it removed. That's the false way. We don't want to do it that way. But if you do legitimately have anything that's popping up that's not accurate, you don't recognize it, you have consumer rights and you're able to go back to the 3 credit bureau agencies and basically tell them, hey, I don't recognize this. I need for you guys to do a verification on these accounts, right? I'm not going to go in depth, but we have videos that kind of walk you guys through, and you can download my free PDF, but it's going to actually show you if things are popping up that you don't recognize. That way we can make sure the only things that's reporting to your credit reports are the accounts that are accurate. If someone's able to get access to your social, as well as your address and a couple of other data points, they're going to be able to start opening up accounts. Again, you're going to get more hard inquiries. They're going to be able to get loan products and credit card products in your name. And they're going to run up the bag and not pay it back. Okay, guys, so it's nothing to be scared about. Just make sure whichever credit monitoring service that you have, again, if you have smart credit, make sure that you're using their identity theft protection plan. It's going to save you guys a headache. But that's pretty much it. So you always want to just, again, monitor what's on your credit reports. Keep those balances low, especially a couple of days before your statement end date. Relax with the hard inquiries. If your credit profile is not where it needs to be right now to start getting approvals, you may want to wait. You may want to garden for at least a few more months before you start trying to do your next application sequence. And then you always want to just be mindful of the credit mix that you have. If you paid off all of your installment loans, I'm not telling you to get in more debt just for your 3-digit FICO, but you might want to reach out to Navy Federal and maybe get 1 or 2 pledge loans just to add some more mix over to your credit profile. So that's be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you haven't already, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace.